The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Monday, July 21st, reveals that Ivy Forrester's affections for Liam Spencer resurfaced as Beth Spencer and Kelly Spencer visited their father. In the design office at Forrester Creations, Ivy reflected on her love with Liam and realized how much she had missed him now that he was dying. Ivy was furious because she ran out of time after telling Electra Forrester that Liam was one of the main reasons she returned to Los Angeles. Ivy wasn't sure how she'd say goodbye to Liam, who had been there for her during one of her lowest periods. On Monday's B&B episode, Katie Logan and Will Spencer met with Brooke Logan, Taylor Hayes and Ridge Forrester in the CEO office. That's where Will and Katie revealed Liam's experimental procedure. Ridge, Taylor and Brooke were all surprised to learn that Liam had been cured. Everyone at the Spencer mansion continued to marvel at Liam's opportunity to live and watch his daughters grow up. Liam insisted on seeing Beth and Kelly today, knowing that he would be okay. Kelly and Beth appeared uneasy about Liam's head bandage and all the equipment, but Liam made them smile with jokes and reassurance. I hope Logan and Steffi Forrester also informed the girls that Liam would be okay. Grace Buckingham appeared uncomfortable and anxious in her office when Bill Spencer sent her a thank you. Bridget Forrester confronted Grace about her decision to discharge Liam into Bill's care so quickly, but Grace took a shady phone call and got rid of Bridget for the time being. Bridget was definitely wary of Grace as she flashed back to various events from her life in the hospital corridor. Back in Grace's office, she received confirmation that Bill's money had been transferred. Grace finally experienced a panic attack as the day's events caught up with her. At one time, John Finnegan asked Bill if he had contacted Grace following the surgery. Bill provided updates on the thanks text he wrote, as Finn remained thoughtful about the issue. After Liam spent some time bonding with Beth and Kelly, Bill grumbled that it was the best money he had ever spent. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Grace Buckingham may have caused more harm than good to Liam Spencer than his friends and family realize. Not only could he still have a tumor, but if she had performed a hasty surgery, she could have made his prognosis even worse. Did the dollar Bill and Spencer family fall for a swindle, or is Liam dying sooner? Keep reading to find out what's coming up on Bold and Beautiful in the next 2 weeks. Spoilers are below. Liam's $1 million surgery scam. It's obvious that Grace Buckingham is up to no good and did something immoral in the operation room. Bill Spencer believes he paid the doctor to save his son Liam and remove the brain tumor. It's likely that Dr. Buckingham didn't even do surgery, but rather made a few cuts and patched him up to make him look like she did. But what if she did hack away a portion of his brain? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest Liam's $1 million surgery may have made him worse off than he was before the shoot. Dr. Buckingham had to do something to appease Dollar Bill and convince him that his $1 million were well worth it. What if she harmed Liam's brain while he was under the knife? Did Grace Buckingham cause damage? A lot might go wrong during brain surgery. If Grace even nicks the wrong place while Liam is sleeping, he could wake up crippled. Even worse, he may lose his motor or speaking ability. Imagine thinking you were spending your life savings to cure your son's cancer, only to find out the surgery was a hoax and he is in worse condition. Do you believe Grace only pretended to perform surgery, or did she genuinely attempt to remove the tumor, making Liam Spencer worse? The morning sun shone softly through Ivy's gauzy drapes, revealing the dust motes that swirled lazily in the golden light. She stood by the window, arms crossed casually over her chest, watching Beth and Kelly play tag in the backyard. Their laughter erupted in sharp, echoing bursts as their carefree and wild feet thudded against the grass. The sight of them made Ivy's chest ache in an unusual layered way. Pride, love, longing, and something else she hadn't felt in years. The steady, creeping burn of long-buried emotions. She had not seen Liam in weeks, perhaps a little longer. Their arrangement was polite and distant, civil for the girls, not because it didn't hurt. They had their schedules, quiet drop-offs and brief texts with clipped wording. Picking up at 4. Is your homework done? She'd forgotten her jacket. But then came yesterday. Ivy had gone to get Beth's stuffed rabbit, Snowdrop, which had been left behind in the chaos of the previous night. She hadn't expected to see him in the doorway, his hair tousled from sleep and a line of stubble softening his jaw. He had laughed as Snowdrop emerged from a pile of laundry, holding it up as a prize. It had been such a little moment, but something unspoken had changed in the air between them. Ivy vanished in a blur, the recollection of his smile trailing her like perfume. As she sipped from her coffee mug, the ceramic warm in her hands, she couldn't deny what was going on. Her emotions were stirring again. It wasn't just a feeling of nostalgia. It went deeper than that. She remembered Liam looking at her across the dinner table, resting his hand on the small of her back when they walked together, and exchanging quiet, unspoken glances while watching the girls sleep. And last night as she closed her eyes, she imagined what it would be like to curl up next to him again, to let her guard down and fall back into that rhythm. But she had to be cautious. Things weren't as straightforward anymore. Beth yelled with glee as Kelly tackled her, sending them both tumbling into the grass. Ivy smiled slightly and set her coffee down. She went outdoors, smoothing her hair back as the girls rushed up to her. "Mommy, can we go to Daddy's early today?" Beth asked breathlessly, her cheeks flushing. Ivy blinked. "Early? Yeah. Daddy said he would take us to the aquarium before lunch." Kelly joined in. "He said we can touch the starfish." Ivy hesitated for a moment. It wasn't Liam's typical visitation day, but they had always allowed for flexibility if it made the girls happy. Besides, it was Sunday. The home was too silent without them. And more than she wanted to admit, she wanted to see him again. "All right," she answered with a slight nod. "Go get your shoes." Beth and Kelly squealed and bolted back inside the house. Ivy followed more slowly, collecting backpacks, combing leaves off their hair, and zipping up jackets. The drive to Liam's apartment was calm. The girls hummed and spoke in the back seat, while Ivy focused on the road, her thoughts wandering far from the traffic lights. By the time they arrived at the building, her stomach was knotted with nerves she hadn't experienced since she was a teenager. Liam opened the door before she could make a knock. He appeared exhausted, but in a handsome and lovable way. He acted as if he had been up all night and had no regrets. The girls ran towards him, arms extended wide, and he snatched them up with a grin that made Ivy's knees weak. She stood at the entrance, unsure whether she should enter. "Hey," Liam responded, meeting her gaze. "Come in." She paused and then nodded. "Just for a minute." Inside, the flat was cozy, lived in but clean. Toys were stored in bins, and children's drawings were posted to the refrigerator. A small plastic aquarium map lay on the coffee table, next to a half-finished bowl of cereal. Ivy absorbed it all in quietly, watching Liam kneel to assist Beth with her Velcro shoes. He looked up. "You want to come to the aquarium with us?" She blinked. "Me? Yeah. You don't have to. I just thought it might be nice." Ivy paused. Her instincts told her to retreat and keep the boundaries clear. But her heart said something else. The girls were already shouting with delight at the idea. She said yes. The girls chatted the entire way to the aquarium. Ivy sat in the passenger seat, hands folded in her lap, and cast sideways looks at Liam behind the wheel. He was humming along with the song and tapping the steering wheel in time. It felt so natural and easy, as if years of pain and quiet fights had faded away. At the aquarium, Beth rubbed her nose against the glass of the jellyfish tank while Kelly ran between exhibits, tugging Ivy's and then Liam's hands. They stroked starfish and observed penguins waddle and dive. At one point, Ivy burst out laughing as Liam mimicked a squid, flapping his arms like tentacles. The girls howled in delight. They had lunch in the courtyard, sharing fries and a milkshake. Ivy watched Liam wipe ketchup from Kelly's chin before beaming up at her. Her breath caught. There it was again, that warm, familiar spark that once shone brightly enough to illuminate every aspect of her life. The day went by too quickly. When it was time to leave, the girls were drowsy in the back seat, leaned against one another. Ivy sat calmly next to Liam, their arms occasionally brushing as he drove. Her heart rate increased with each inadvertent touch. Returning to Liam's apartment, he took the girls inside and tucked them into the couch with a DVD and a blanket. Ivy lingered again, unsure what to do with herself and her thoughts. She turned to leave and reached for the doorknob. "Ivy," Liam spoke softly. She cast a glance back. "I'm glad you came today." She nodded slowly, concerned about her voice. "Me too." He moved closer, hands in his pockets. It felt like old times. She swallowed. "Yeah, it did." There was a pause. They begged to be filled. "I've missed this," he admitted finally. "Not only the girls. You." Ivy felt her throat tightening. Liam. I know, he replied swiftly, hands lifted slightly. I am not trying to push anything. But I just wanted you to know. She did not respond right away. She felt 1,000 ideas flood through her at once, entwined with dread, hope, and the fragile weight of potential. Her heart clashed with her reason, but when she stared into his warm, inquiring, honest eyes, something inside her softened. I've missed you too, she said quietly. He stretched out and softly brushed her hand with his. It was such a small thing, but it sent shivers through her. That night, Ivy sat alone in her living room, covered in a blanket and silent. The daughters were staying with Liam, allowing her to spend a rare night alone. But instead of reading or watching television, she sat in silence, replaying every moment of the day. The way Liam laughed, the way he stared at her, the way her heart had stirred, like embers finding fire again. Could they find their way back together? Was there still something real between them? Or were they simply chasing a memory that was too soft to contain? She did not know. She wanted to find out. In the weeks that followed, things began to shift in subtle, deliberate ways. Ivy and Liam began texting more frequently, sending longer messages, inside jokes, and revisiting old memories. They posted images of the girls, comments on bedtime mayhem, reports on loose teeth and playground trouble. They even started meeting for coffee during drop-offs, conversing on benches as the daughters played nearby. Then one evening Liam invited her to dinner, just the two of them. Ivy pondered over what to dress and what it could entail. But when she arrived, her nerves relaxed the instant she saw him. They spoke for hours. About everything. Regarding what went wrong. About what was still important. About whether love can be broken and rebuilt piece by piece. When she left, he kissed her cheek. She stood there in the dark for a long time afterward, her fingertips delicately caressing where his lips had once been. It was not a fairy tale. There were still difficult days. There are still times of doubt. But there was something genuine between them again. A bridge being steadily repaired. Not for girls. This is not for nostalgia. But for them. And each time Ivy looked at Liam, she felt it more strongly. This quiet, steady hope. A never-ending flame is finally rekindling.